welcome, of course, our esteemed viewers to another exciting episode on Von Sports, where we discuss the most trending issues around the world of sport. Today being the very 21st of August, it is the day in 1936 that the only player in the history of the NBA scoring 100 points in a game, talk about Wilt Chamberlain. It is also in 1986 where we had the man who a lot of people call the greatest of all times when it comes to athletics, Usain St. Leo Bolt was born. But in 2016, let's tell you that it was a three-peat for the U.S. national team, winning the basketball in the Olympics for the very third time for gold medal. And just not too long ago, in 2000, it was for Tiger Woods and for golf, as he went all the way to make it the very second consecutive PGA Championship title. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a rare August, but here today we'll have a whole lot of exciting conversation, from Spain becoming the fifth nation to win the FIFA Women's World Cup to the Premier League, back and forth, how it all turned out. The MLS, louder mercy, perhaps the GOAT is doing good business again. I will not be doing this business all alone. Juicy topic, juicy conversations, and I've had one who really knows how to make it even much more juicy. Don Enoh is right here to talk sport with me.
Sean Pablo, it's great to be here, of course.
It's always a pleasure.
Talking sports is our business.
Surely, and let's get straight to the topic of the day.
Yeah.
Talk about talking sports. We have the new minister being sworn in today. He will be taking charge of the sporting event in Nigeria. The Ministry of Youth and Sport Development now being divided into two, as we have the Ministry of Youth Development and as well as the Ministry of Sports Development. And for sports development, we have the new minister, John Enoh.
No.
What are the prospects and expectations here, Enoh?
Well, Sean, when his name was announced initially, some butterflies were fluttering, like, who is he? Is he very much in touch with the sports industry? But, you know, over time, what we'll come to see about handling the sports sector, two things: passion, understanding, and keying into the business aspects of sports. In other words, expanding revenue basis for more investments to come. And fortunately, Mr. Enoh ticks those boxes. He's an entrepreneur, especially in the agricultural sector and business. And what we really need for Nigerian sports right now is, look, we have the talents, we have the manpower, we have the what have you. But the only thing that is just needed right now is to get the kind of funding that we have, like we have for entertainment. Thereby, you get more money, more infrastructure, and the opportunities for people to grow and build their skills ability. Now, remember the last sports minister, he tried something of that nature. You know, getting the private sector to key into building infrastructure of sporting stadiums like the one in Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, and other places. So definitely, Senator Ewang has his work cut out. He has to now build on that. He has to try and have, or rather say, midwife a sporting policy that will make Nigeria tops again, especially when it comes to football, athletics, basketball, boxing. That's where we have our comparative advantage. Then also giving opportunities to other sporting sectors to also pick up.
I mean, talk about excelling in the sporting arena here in Nigeria. We have a whole lot of talent who naturally are supposed to be champions, because when they go out there representing other countries, they become champions. So let's get down to very quickly the kind of mandate that should be expected. I mean, we saw the last minister, Chief Sunday Dare, set out the Adopt campaign, where adopt an athlete, adopt a stadium, adopt a sport, and it quite worked very well. And before he left office on November 7, 2022, he was able to enact into law the National Sports Sports Industry Policy, the National Sports Industry Policy, and that on its own gives opportunity for investors all over the world to come into Nigeria and harness the opportunity by investing into our sport and, of course, reaping positively. Now, from here, it doesn't seem like the new minister is going to come set foundation. Foundation's already been set. Now, what do you think will be the next mandate, rather the next line of action, rather the next steps it was taken from the past administration and continued into this particular one for the sole essence of achieving massive results for the team in Nigerian youth, especially in the sporting area?
It's very straightforward. There's already a policy on ground. It's just policy continuity. You get better results, measurable results when you already have a template on ground and you build on that. So for the new sports minister, it's very simple. Build on what has been set. Get more eggheads around to ensure that policy is implemented to the letter. But most importantly, getting private sector involvement in sport.
Absolutely. I mean, the scope of winning in Nigeria sports cannot be overemphasized, because we have here amongst us over 70% of the population, all young people, and that tells you about an industry that could be even the next oil well for the most populous black nation of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take you away straight to Australia and New Zealand, where history was made just last night. I mean, Spain became the 5th nation to win the FIFA Women's World Cup, and they did it in style. I mean, scoring a goal in 29 minutes, defended all through, got even a lot of more chances perhaps, got very good chances to score, had a penalty which was mixed. But again, now you looked at how they played that tournament, how they grew into the tournament, and how they became champions. There is a whole lot to talk about. Spain in that game defeated England by 1-0, with Olga Carmona scoring the own goal in 29 minutes. Maxino, coming into this particular finals, everybody was giving it to the 3 Lionesses because they had the hype, they had the tempo, they had all of the support, I like to say, because they had just won the European Championship just last season. So the whole of Europe and the rest of the world, who couldn't believe in themselves, believed in the 3 Lionesses. And but look at how you found out. Spain, football is no respecter of nobody, and Spain just proved that football truly doesn't respect anybody.
You know, if you follow Spain, their football trajectory, even their male team, they start slowly. But when they click into gear, you cannot stop them. So what we saw on Sunday, the Selección Española Femenina, what they simply did is they just followed that path. More than half of the squad are from La Masia, the academy for Barcelona that trained out the likes of Lionel Messi, Ronaldinho, and all the other footballers we talk about. So when they scaled the second round, like, okay, the last time they were at the World Cup, they got knocked out by the US. Then they reached the quarterfinals. Then they reached the semi-finals. When they let me tell you the truth. For me, I tipped Sweden to win this tournament. I felt they had it going. But when Spain stopped them, I said, England will have a problem.
It's still Von Sports, where we give you the tantalizing, exciting, juicy stories amazed round in the world of sport. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any bigger. It is right here that it all buzz. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get down to the conversation over the weekend when it comes to the Premier League, the Serie A, the La Liga, the Bundesliga, and of course the France Ligue 1. But let's get it started where it all started on Friday, where Nottingham Forest were able to do a 2-1 victory over their opposition. I mean, Sheffield United had no call whatsoever, and Taiwo Awoniyi has scored 2 goals in 2 games. And I will tell you as well that Bayern Munich also on Friday defeated Werder Bremen away from home by 4-0. Harry Kane scoring his very first goal. And the Saturday game, which I know Maxino really want to jump upon, is where Liverpool they defeated AFC Bournemouth by 3-1. Despite suffering a red card, despite Mo Salah's anger in the previous game,
I had BP issues for that game.
Like, I had real BP issues for that game. Why? Because Liverpool has been abysmal in the transfer market. And, of course, when McAllister got sent off, I like, oh, my God.
What is going to happen now?
But somehow, they managed to dig it. But let me tell you, Sean Pablo, if Liverpool does not strengthen, if they go with this team, they will suffer. Because, remember, unlike Chelsea, Liverpool is going to play Europa League, and Europa League is much more difficult than Champions League, because you go to places like Malta, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Garden of Eden, Yemen,
Look, you really have your geography map with you, so it's not going to be funny at all for Liverpool. They have to strengthen. But credit to the team for digging deep. For Taiwo Awoniyi, he has shown consistency with Nottingham Forest. He scored in the first match against Arsenal. Then this particular match, he also showed his poaching abilities. And yes, I feel that if he continues like this, one of the big sides might spot him later on in the season or after the season ends, and he might move from there.
Well, Victor Osimhen. Well, before you go ahead,
Yeah.
the new coach, Rudy Garcia of Napoli, came out to say that he compares Osimhen to the likes of Ronaldo, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and the big names who know how to do their deals right in box 18. Well, Osimhen didn't make any statement, but after the game against Frosinone, where he scored a brace, he spoke to the media and he said, well, I am not surprised that the manager ranks me well and believes in me, but of course the only way I respond is by performing. How do you make of that?
Look, it was a statement on the pitch by a champion, a born warrior. One thing I like about Victor Osimhen is he's not just your normal top striker that waits to get assists and support. He can fall back to even become a foil. A foil, like he can even give assists to others. So you're having a striker that is very strong on the ball, strong in the air, very good first touch, can even create and scores goals. And what goals did he not score on Saturday for Napoli? He just made it clear that, look, yes, their coach Spalletti may have gone, he's now the coach of the Italian national team.
Yeah.
But with Luis Garcia, the bench, as the new manager, with the likes of all those players still around, especially Osimhen, definitely they are going to fight thunder and blood to keep that Serie A title. And Osimhen lived up to expectations.
Well, you just cannot argue with that. First game, 2 goals already. He's topped right there on the scorers charts at the Serie A. Let's take you down here, or rather bring you here in Africa, where CAF Champions League qualifiers also played alongside CAF Confederations Cup qualifiers. Well, away in Ghana, Medeama of Ghana were able to defeat Remo Stars of Nigeria by a lone goal. Meanwhile, Aimba could not get the results which they were looking forward to in Libya. Of course, they lost in that game, having scored 3 goals. It was 4-3 to the opposition. And I tell you that the other game, when it came to the CAF Confederations Cup, it was another not too good of a tale. But Bendel Insurance got a 3-point advantage in that game, but they still have the second leg to play away in Algeria. Maxino, the Nigerian contingent have already taken their action right in the very first game in the continental event, but here we have only 1 win, 2 losses. What more is there to take this weekend?
Well, for Remo Stars, this is just their second foray into Africa against the Ghanaian opponent. Many expected that they would come up with at least a draw, but there were complaints about the Cape Stadium pitch, that it wasn't exactly top notch. And of course, you know, for the Ghanaians, it behoved on them to at least get a goal since they were playing at home, knowing fully well that if they could get a goal and lock up shop, that would give them an advantage. You know, a long goal win is always better than a like 2-1, 3-2 win, because the away side has got an away goal. So now what it simply means is that Remo Stars now have to come out all blazing in Ikene, and the Ghanaians will just have to sit back, and if they can sneak in a goal, they are almost as good as being at home. But for Remo Stars, they've been playing different tournaments, and this is the time for them to now bring their A game to play. If they have to bring players from their youth team, beyond limits, those boys are good. If they can bring 1 or 2 to add to them, they get it right. For Eyimba, if you ask me, the goalkeeper, I don't know what happened to him, Olorun Leke, I don't know what happened to him. He was flapping. There was no reason for Al Ahly Benghazi to score those goals, especially the last 2. I mean, we even did well. Eyimba scored 3 away, which is quite commendable. But I hear there were 1 or 2 things that happened, which we might get to know later on behind the scenes. But, I mean, when it was 3-3, they should have just locked up shop. Lock up shop. Everybody fall back. Give the North Africans their dose of medicine. feign injury, waste time, so that at least you can go home with a point. They missed it. Now they have to go back to Uyo about to ensure that they win. For insurance, they played very well, but their lack of cutting edge still showed. Apart from Imade, they don't really have goal scorers. And the Algerians stuck to their task. Limit the damage, get at least a draw or maximum a minimum defeat. When the referee blew the final whistle, you saw they were even clapping because they were happy that, okay, we've got this wrapped up. So insurance has to dig deep, like the insurance teams of the 90s. Oh, you have Bogdan Bazwaye, you have Alassane Mohamed, you have Justice Christopher, Tunde Charity. These were guys that could go to Tunisia, South Africa, and get results. They have to do it. If the match has to go to penalties, fine. If they have to score a goal, that will even make it better because the Algerians will not be under pressure. Rivers United, they drew a bye, so they've already gone to the next round. So, by and large, it was a mixed outing for Nigerian teams on the African continent. But we hope that they get it right. Eyimba do the business here in Nigeria. Remo Stars in Ikene, and insurance hold their own in Algeria. And let's see what happens from there.
Well, you know, as they always say, that the future is female. And of course, we had a female team play yesterday as well on the continent. Delta Queens. Oh, Maxino Delta Queens.
Yeah, my home state, Delta. They got it right, 3-0 against Yusafa of Burkina Faso, their first match. So definitely other matches will come up. Definitely Nigeria has already made a statement with the African Women's Champions League. Bielsa United. Yeah, but Bielsa Queens, sorry, they came third at the last edition that was played in Morocco. Now Delta Queens of Asaba, they can better that and go further. But so far so good. We pray for we wish them and hope for the best.
Hope for the very, very best. I want to say congratulations as well to all those who've made massive success over the weekend. Congratulations to Lionel Messi's Inter Miami for winning the cup, and Lionel Messi was instrumental in that one.
The greatest player of all time.
Oh, of all time.
So. I'm saying he's the greatest
he
of all
said
time.
it, and I can't doubt it. Oh, let's tell you, I want to say thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast. Of course, we still have more games to play tonight. We want to say our condolences to Olga Carmona, who lost his father, having scored the heroic World Cup winner yesterday for Spain against England. Yeah. Well, his father, Jose Vedrasco, passed on after his daughter scored the most important goal in the biggest stage of women football, of course, of her career as well. It's a sad moment for her, but of course I believe that it's going to be mixed feelings as well, because she also will be celebrating the World Cup, even as she has paid tribute to the father. Well, of course, we expect to see what Spain will do as a nation, backing up that heroic feat from Olga Carmona. With that, we also want to say, of course, a happy posthumous to Wilt Chamberlain, the only player to score 100 points in a single NBA game. Of course, he won 2 NBA championships and becoming 4-time NBA most valuable player. That is a great feat he achieved. With that, let's also tell you that today is Usain Bolt's birthday, so you want to celebrate with him. You want to say birthday to Usain Bolt. Everybody, happy birthday to Usain Bolt. It isn't my birthday, but of course, Usain Bolt, you are the greatest of all time.
I mean,
when it comes to the sprint, right?
Absolutely, no question about it. No debate.
No question about that.
Yeah.
But the question here will be, who will win tonight? Crystal Palace versus Arsenal.
A London grudge match. South London versus North London. It's going to be very interesting. But I think Arsenal has got this one. They've got this locked down. Or at worst, a draw.
So, your prediction?
Arsenal to win. 2-1. 2-1, Arsenal.
Maxino has said 2-1 to Arsenal. Of course, Roy Hodgson, we're looking forward to seeing what Mikel Arteta can bring there at the Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where we're wrapping up the show. But before we go, I'd like to thank Don Maxino for coming on this show. It's been a huge fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, of course, my name is Sean Pablo. But before I leave you, let me tell you that you can be a part of our broadcast. You can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can always hit that notification box. You can always like our page and always be there to comment. And for comment, do comment your prediction between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. And if you win, you just might be a winner. My name is Sean. Have a good one.
And side-footed